Okay, so we're going to be creating a presentation board in Photoshop for our 1-point perspective bedrooms. So the first thing that we're going to do is open up our scanned document. So Sarah Istitoy has let me use her work, which was really nice. It'll come into your student email. It'll be a PDF, so you'll need to save that and then open it. Just making sure here that the mode is CMYK, so it doesn't come out in grayscale. So hit OK. All right, so Command A or Control A, depending if you've got a Mac or not, and then Command T, we can transform and just change the orientation of this a little bit because it was a little bit skew with. You can always click and drag a ruler down from the border there. If you don't have rulers up, you just hit Command R or Control R. Okay, I just hit Enter there to get rid of that transformation. We're going to now crop our image just to bring it in a little bit. So C for crop, just cropping in the sides of our work so there's no excess on it. Great. Okay, the two tools we're going to look at are the clone stamp to begin with. So shortcut S. To make your brush smaller or larger, you just use the square brackets here. Press Option or Alt, click, and it'll actually take a sample of that section that you pressed Option or Alt on, which is great because it just does a perfect colour match for you. So you can kind of touch up some of those blemishes. You will find you need to keep going back and press Option Alt because things like that happen where it takes a line perhaps that you don't want. So just again, Option or Alt, click, and then you can just brush in those colours. All right, the next tool we're going to use is the burning and dodging tool. So the burning tool just really darkens the colours in your work. Now this is really good to create that light source that we're after, which is part of your assessed grade. So you really need to show shadows and highlights in your work. So obviously shadows would kind of fall underneath things, maybe even along the corners of your room. But yeah, really creating that illusion of shadows. Now, the dodging tool also will lighten, and that's a great way to create highlights. But if we're imagining that there's a light cast here, just kind of darkening up the areas that wouldn't be getting as much light creates just this 3D effect. So let's dodge, just make the brush bigger by clicking the square brackets. Maybe just lightening on top of the bedspread here. Just creating that illusion of just light coming through from the top there. Okay, that's enough to kind of show you how to use the tool. Alright, so that was clone stamp and burning and dodging. So now I'm just going to copy this whole thing. So Command A again, or Control A, Control C, Control or Command C. So I'm copying this work and we're going to put it onto a presentation board. So File, New, selecting Print, we want it to be A3. The orientation is landscape. RGB or CMYK are all right. CMYK usually we use for laser printing, RGB for inkjet, but either will print well on the printer we've got today, so I'll just leave it on CMYK. And that's our A3 document. All right, so if I press Control V, now yours should actually come up as the A4 size initially, so it should be probably around this size here. A4 on an A3. So I'm just transforming it here. That was Control T and just going to press Enter. Now if you want to put an effect on this, you can. So if you hit FX down the bottom here, you can put a stroke on your work. You could put a drop shadow. Let's say stroke. So if we're looking at the position of the stroke, we can put that outside. The colour is black. I mean, we could chuck like a bit of a chunky border on it, maybe not too chunky, just fine like that, looks nice. And even a drop shadow would probably be a nice touch too. So make sure this whole bar is selected and you get these kind of options coming up. So I'm just going to up just that drop shadow happening just there. You can change where the light's falling. That'll do. Great, so we're hitting OK. So that's been placed in there now. Now we just need to put in our title. T for type. Selecting up the top corner here, Now I would like us to all use the same font and colour so everything looks uniform when we present them. So these are our shipping container bungalows. Control A, I'm just going to change this to Arial. So can we all have Arial in caps? Let's go regular. And let's make it 36 so they're really nice and big, okay? And just black. I know it feels a little bit boring, but we're looking at these kind of presentation boards and it's pretty much what designers are doing. So this is kind of your industrial design inspiration kind of board, presentation board, and that's what we're working on. Haven't done the floor plans yet, but something along these lines is the feel that we're after. So more specifically that one there. So if we were trying to create something like that, shipping container bungalows. B for brush, let's select the pencil tool, making sure we're on that background layer. We can actually draw a line in like that other work had. Now, I'll just try and get a similar thickness to the title above. So that's about 20. If you click once, making sure it's black, click once, hold down Shift, and click again. An even easier way of doing that is probably just making sure we're on the background layer. 15 is a good size. Yep, okay. So clicking once, holding down Shift, and just dragging that across is probably easier there. Okay, shipping container bungalows. Just going to move that down. Now, T for type. If you press Command T, you should be able to move that manually down. Okay, T for type underneath. We're going to say, not in capitals this time, Japanese style interior. You can put in whatever style you were focusing on or inspired by. Hold on, Arial 36. Let's make this 14, just so we get a bit of a sense of hierarchy happening. Okay. Now, mine's still coming through as capitals, so I might need to quickly fix that. I'm going to go window character. This button here has been selected, so I need to take that off because it's, and I might even make it italicized. Might make it look better. Sorry, okay. All right, I'm just going to run with the capitals. So Japanese style interior, shipping container bungalows. So if you guys can reproduce something like that. Now we also need to put our name down the bottom corner, just like 10 VCD. I just selected Alt-click then to just simply drag this down. So I've got the same formatting. So it's regular, Arial, 14, 10 VCD. Just pop your name down here as well. Okay, now the last thing that we need to do is place a whole bunch of little swatches and images over on the right. So if we just open up some of these documents, so you need to go and collect a series of textures that you want in your room. So just excuse me grabbing them out now. So textures, so I have got a bunch of different images. You need 3 textures and 2 objects. So objects that will be going in your room. So here I've kind of got this green texture happening. Then I've got this light. Whoop. So always holding down Shift whenever we are altering things. Great, try and do this quickly. Another light coming in here. So these are just images that I grabbed off Google Images, yeah, because I just thought, yep, they would be appropriate for this room. Just capturing the same colours, the same feel, and just a little bit of almost like a mood board of what's happening in here. So I've got 3 objects here and 3 textures. Anything along those lines will work well. Okay, So here they are here. Here are all the images down the side. Again, if I just hold down Shift, I can put an effect on them. What? No, we can't. I need to rasterize them first. So what I'm going to actually do is rasterize these layers. So that was just right-click, rasterize. Now, let's see if I can do multiples. You can just then place again any effects you want on them. Let's keep it kind of professional and nice. So I think just that drop shadow look is probably our best bet. And just placing that drop shadow on the different textures and things will just add a little something to it. Awesome, you can then print that out in color and mount it on foam core. And yeah, usual settings, just making sure that it's landscape. Now this will look different on everyone's computer, so I won't go through that now. Thanks for listening, guys.